All right, so in this video, we're going to be talking about your role as an educator. Now, as a salesperson, I think a lot of people get that the most helpful salespeople in the world are very good at educating their customers. However, it is very important that we look at our role as educator in a very special light because people call us for our expertise on something, and you can play this game wrong. It's very possible to walk in as an educator and come out as a know-it-all. So we don't want to do that. We also want to make sure that people understand that we're confident without moving into some sort of like jerk, right? So we can balance this. And I want to start off by telling you a story. When I first got married, my wife and I moved into an apartment, and very young. I was 21, she was 19 when we got married. And it worked out. It's worked out great. But we did not either one know or understand about pigeons. So when we were first in our house and we heard out on the balcony, we heard this like weird sound, like warbling. What the heck is going on? So we go look out and we see on our balcony that there are some pigeons roosting. And it's so cute. They built a nest and they already had eggs in it. We're like, oh, here we are starting our family, and there's some birds starting their family. And we just didn't know. We were not educated on it. And so the noises kind of got loud. It'd wake us up in the morning. It would, go during the night. It would, and then you start looking out there and man, they really poop on their eggs a lot. Like there's a lot of bird feces out there. And the reason that there's bird feces out there is because that's what pigeons do. People call them rats with wings. And I didn't know that. I just thought they were cute birds. And so we let it go. And then we got to the point where these eggs are going to hatch. And now there's little like, and all hours of the night, it's loud, and it's annoying. And we don't have the heart to like kill them or dispose of them or move. Like this is their house now, right? And so they overran us. That was a gross lesson to learn. It really was. I mean, I can't even express to you how long it took us to finally clean it up. And I did end up having to dispose of that. It just got so bad. It was just taking over everything. So the thing about it is that I had knowledge about birds in general. I knew that it was cute. I had knowledge about families in general. It was kind of cute that they'd made a family, and I knew a little bit. I thought I knew enough, but I did not know enough. I didn't. And I didn't know what I didn't know, which led me down the path of unhappiness. And a lot of your customers are the same way. They just know that a house wash is someone going to come spray their house. Are they going to use bleach? Are they going to kill my plants? Are they going to be able to get rid of this thing or that? Are they, they don't know. They don't know. And so your job as a salesperson is to help them to understand we know what we're doing. We do this all day, every day. And you take certain things for granted that that other people just don't know. Like everyone else in the world knew that pigeons were rats with wings. I just didn't know. So we got to make sure that we express ourselves in a way to our customer that helps them to be able to take some of the knowledge that we have that makes our decision-making process a lot easier. We want to transfer that information to them. If you're doing it on your website, you can do it through video. If you're using ResponsiBid, we have introductory videos. We have other ways that you can share the value propositions of what you offer. You can put blurbs and blog posts. There's all sorts of things you can do to build trust that'll have you showing up in the search engines. It'll have your customers in love with you before you ever give them a price. Because someone who is able to expand the knowledge of another person, you start forming bonds. There's actual connections in your brain to them because you're now an educator to them. And this might be some high-powered lawyer that knows a lot of things you don't know. But in this one area, you might know a lot more than they know. And in a lot of areas you might, but that transfer of knowledge is very important to building an authoritative and compassionate view with your customer, to be able to view you as an authority who has compassion for them. Now, I use compassion. It's very easy when you move into education mode to also move into know-it-all mode. It's easy to move from confidence mode or swagger mode into jerk mode, right? Now, I'm not saying anyone here does that, but think back to a time when someone just started blasting you with knowledge, using words that you didn't understand, right? deionized water with hog's hair brushes with an anti-scaling device that uses high modulus carbon fiber. You start talking about all your tools, and maybe you got a carpet cleaning system, and you start talking about all the different stages of purification, and you start talking about all the different enzymes and all the things that that make you very smart. They can quickly move you into know-it-all mode. And people actually don't want to do business. They love doing business with educators, but they do not love doing business with know-it-alls. And that is obviously there's personalities that go on. I'm just speaking overall. Most people don't like to be spoken down to. If you start using language of things that you're trying to do to puff yourself up to make yourself sound smarter, and you're bestowing this knowledge in a way that makes it sound like they should already know this, or what kind of idiot doesn't know that, or maybe it's a situation where you're passing on information and you're maybe even being condescending about it. You can use that educator role to divide you from your customer, and you do not want that. So what makes it so important for people to want to do business with you? You need to know what those things are, and you need to be able to explain them to the layman in a way that helps them feel great about it. Now, as an educator, there's things that you can educate in terms of the actual work, and I've talked a lot about that so far. The tools that you use, or the chemicals that you use, or the process that you use, or the results that you get. All of those things are important, and you can educate them on that. But there's a lot of other things that you can educate people on as well. We're going to have a class later on that talks about your unique selling proposition. And your unique selling proposition is an important, very important thing to educate your customer about. What promise do you keep that the competition would not even dare make? What makes you unshoppable is another way of saying it. So we'll get into what makes you unshoppable, but this is the time to use your marketing in an education format. At the very beginning of a relationship with a customer, they come down your funnel. They've done the Google search. They've clicked on your website. They're getting educated on your website. They call on the phone. The first thing they want to be educated on is price. That's usually what they go, how much would it cost to blank? That's what they're going to say. Well, your job as the educator is to make sure that we know what it is that they're looking for so that we can educate them on that thing. So when a customer calls you and says, I need a price for window cleaning. Oh, okay. Well, real quick, before we get started, how old's your house? Do you have storm windows? Has it been painted? Did those storm windows get painted shut? Can you actually open and close your windows? Right? Have you ever had a window cleaner out before? Have your windows ever been professionally cleaned before? Oh, you want your roof cleaned? Great. Do you guys have gutters? Tell me a little bit about like, how old is your roof? Do you know? Has it got black streaks on it? We're going to ask questions because we're going to start educating them that, oh, okay, you got the black streaks. Are we going to try and sound like a know-it-all and tell them about the big long name of the bacteria that I can't even remember anymore? But like, are we going to talk about bacteria? Or are we going to talk about, oh man, okay. So yeah, that's the one, that's the bacteria that will end up eat your roof alive. So we're going to give some life to your roof by killing that bacteria in place and not allowing them to continue to decompose your roof. That's really important, and we take that very seriously. We do it all day, every day for other people, and we are very good at it. Now, when we do it, we're going to have to use chemicals that plants don't like, right? Because we're killing bacteria and plants that are growing on your roof. The chemical we use does not differentiate between the plants on the ground and the plants on your roof, but right? You see how the education here goes. I'm not talking down. I'm not standing nose to nose. Educators don't get nose to nose. Educators go shoulder to shoulder. You sit here, I put my arm around you, and we look at the future together. That is a critical piece of education. And you can educate your customers in a way that no one else can, because you have the experiences and the expertise that you have. So in the education mode, we are going to show authority and we're going to show empathy. And those two things combined will make it so that you don't have the pigeon problem and your customer doesn't have the pigeon problem, right? We want to make sure that they get what they need, even if it's more than what they asked for. And they'll know that because of the education process. So later on, when I go to try to sell them what they actually need, it's not going to feel like a manipulation commission project for me. This is going to feel like something that I am actually going out to do to build my customer up, to give them tons of value, and to really shine above your competition. So education, think of yourself as an educator. I want you to make yourself a list. All the things that you feel you need to have course material, we'll call it course material on, what are all the questions that people have? What are the questions that they should have? And I want you to think about all the answers that you needed to know off the cuff that you can answer. A lot of them are probably robotic to you. You answer those questions all the time in the field. But have you trained other people in your company to answer them that way? Do you answer them shoulder to shoulder instead of nose to nose? I hope you do, because that is a very important part of that empathy that we're talking about. So, all right, let's get you working on that list. And when you come to the next class, we're going to talk about curation, the ability for you to put things together for your customers. All right, we will see you in the next class with your list.